Warning, the 1,200-mile structure they just found under Greenland. I'm gonna tell you something they hoped we'd never hear. Under Greenland's ice, there's a line 1,200 miles long that doesn't act like rock or water. We watched pages flip to maintenance. You saw logs vanish, flights went quiet, and those bright spots on that line, they hum just off 7.83 hertz, the planet's heartbeat. Are you sitting down? If this holds energy, borders, and war all bend? You didn't miss it, they hid it from you, from us. Here's our proof. In 2013, a NASA-led team mapped a hidden canyon in northwest Greenland, roughly 750 kilometers long. It proved long, straight features can hide under miles of ice. And our tools can still see them. Go back further. In 1966 at Camp Century, a drill reached the base and pulled up twigs and leaves from the dark. In 2021, a new read said those plants were recent in geologic time. So Greenland has been ice-free within the last couple 100,000 years. If the lid is young, the bed can be older, old enough to wear faces. Now the fight. Late 1950s into the 1960s, the U.S. Army built Camp Century and sold it as research. The classified plan, Project Iceworm, hid missiles in a moving glacier. Denmark bristled, files slept. The public got snow physics. Then in 2016, the waste risk came back. Same smiles, same tone, same missing pages. And we felt it like a hand over the mouth. This is us versus them, and you're in it. Them edits nouns, us keeps clocks. Them moves aisles, us remembers years. A Smithsonian-linked index delisted mirror and specular papers. Tags died at midnight. PDFs only lived if you knew the exact door. That's not housekeeping. That's a personal betrayal of public trust, of your right to know. We paid for asking. A tech reprocessing a noisy swath DM'd 5 words. I found a staircase. We saved the message, then he went dark. Weeks later, his accounts were under review. No rant, no goodbye, just gone. That's the human bill for the wrong noun. So here's how we'll do this. We'll mark speculation, we'll anchor facts, we'll show you the cut marks where the edits started, and there's a place, node 14, where the echoes sharpen and the timing locks. Once you see it, you won't unsee it. Trust me, you're not ready, but we're going anyway, together. The setup, Iceworm's ghost. The first time Greenland lied to us, it smiled with brochures. We bought the tour, you would have too. Late 1950s, soldiers carved streets under ice and called it Camp Century. Prefab huts in arched snow tunnels, diesel heat, a tiny reactor PM-2A humming in white. Official story, science. Real story, Project Iceworm, hide missiles in a living glacier, move them, vanish them in the flow. We learned fast. Snow isn't steel, it creeps, it flows, arches pinch, floors heave, clean halls turned into slow crush zones. Between 1959 and 1967, the pitch died in paperwork. Officially, Camp Century studied snow. Unofficially, it taught a rule we still use. If you hide under Greenland, you have to laugh at time. Then a detail came back like a radio in a quiet room. 1966. The drill hit dark ground. It pulled twigs and leaves, plants that once saw the sky. Those slept in freezers for decades. In 2021, a reread said it plain. Recent geologically. Greenland was ice-free within the last couple 100,000 years. File that. The lid is young. The bed remembers. Build down there and ice can bury you without erasing you. Our eyes sharpened next. 2009 to 2021. NASA's Operation Icebridge flew grid lines. In 2013, a team mapped a hidden canyon 750 kilometers long under miles of ice. That wasn't just geology, that was permission. Long, disciplined lines can hide. Our tools can still find them. Then the edits started. We saw it. You would have felt it. An internal page flagged corridor reflectors lined against flow, boring words to most, coordinates to a few. Hours later, the page went maintenance. It came back softer, nouns dulled. Our saved hashes didn't match. No correction, just quiet hands. And the Smithsonian-linked index. It slid a blade. 3 subglacial mirror papers delisted. Tags gone at midnight. PDFs lived only if you knew the exact door. That's not housekeeping. That's a personal betrayal of public trust, of your right to find what you paid for. This lands on people, not just pages. A grad student's poster on reflectors vanished from a program. The pie had a family emergency. We know what that means. A postdoc who said specular lost a flight. Seat pulled, no rant, just a hole. 2 small expeditions, dust and melt, lost funding the same week. Reprioritized. We saved the emails. We kept working anyway. Us with screens, them with knives. We stared at noise, we saw stairs. We stacked what's public, volcanic dike. No heat, no gas, wrong magnetics, lava tubes, not at this scale. Glacial scour, scours wander, this kept time. The line didn't drift. It drew with a ruler, kinked like a hinge. Then drew again, bright spots held steady. Every 40 to 60 miles, off-angle dull, on-angle blaze, a mirror in ice. You don't need a degree for that. Then the hands closed. FOIA came back black, whole paragraphs gone. Calibration constants vanished. Contractors posted geophysical corridor stabilization, VLF hardening. Then the ads died, caches glowed like ghosts. Catalogs changed overnight. Specular became diffuse. Corridor softened to lineament. Node to junctional morphology. Search runs on nouns, kill the path, the edit knife smiled. We asked simple things. What are those bright flares? Replies said noise. Maintenance, scope, people laughed, then a tech DM'd 5 words. I found a staircase. He went quiet after, weeks later, under review. That's the bill for the wrong noun. Here's the shape we held up together. A 1,200-mile arc, straight runs, sudden kinks, triaxial junctions at mirrored angles, nodes every 40 to 60 miles. The metronome never missed. We ran incident sweeps. On angle, nodes flared. 5 degrees off, they dulled. Specular mirrors, not rubble, facets leaned hex. Echoes fell in steps. Flat, drop, flat, that's a staircase hiding in noise. We laid it on maps, bed machine, hydrology, melt onset. Rivers curled with the land, the arc ignored it. It paralleled a valley, then sliced a rise clean. Water takes easy lines, this line wrote its own. We checked gravity, a faint negative ribbon, light where rock should be heavy. It shadowed the mirrors within hundreds of meters. Hollow winds count, dikes read heavy, this did not. Magnetics twitched on the beat. Even, disciplined, not fresh basalt snarl, not chaos, a pulse in numbers, a hand on a dial. We begged for random. We shoved bearings, we jittered spacings. Residuals went ugly, snapped back to 40 to 60 miles. Errors died. The map snapped tight. The island wore a skeleton. Their erasure deepened while we watched. FOIA blacked out freshman settings. Contractors pulled posts. University records softened tags. Search turned blind. Smithsonian delisted more. The knife kept cutting. So we held receipts. 2013 proved long lines hide in ice. Our tools can see them. That matters. It gave us permission. Keep looking. Then the age anchor landed. The island wasn't always sealed. In 1966, Camp Century's drill bit dark ground. It pulled twigs and leaves from the base. Those slept in cold boxes for decades. In 2021, a fresh reed spoke plain. Recent geologically. Greenland was ice-free within the last couple 100,000 years. The lid is young. The bed can be older. File that with the staircase, with the mirrors, with the gravity ribbon. If ice came back fast, it could cover work that laughs at pressure. Bury it, not erase it. Us versus them hardened. We asked for angles, we got diffuse. We asked for nodes, we got junctional morphology. They weren't arguing the map, they were hiding the nouns. That's the betrayal, not fire, fog. Make it human again, a grad poster vanished. Program change, a PI found a family emergency. A postdoc who said specular lost a flight. 2 small teams lost funding the same week. Reprioritized, a pilot's feed locked. Security review, that's not debate, that's a glove over a mouth. Here's the whisper we kept. Triaxial junctions held mirrored angles, 40 to 60 miles apart, over and over. A metronome under a continent of ice. Gravity lows matched radar highs. Fjords at projected landfalls opened days to weeks early, year after year. Kinder water, premiums dipped a hair. Captains noticed first. We dropped the arc on great circles that matter. Nav lanes, timing paths, long-haul comms, the bearings lined up. If a node couples a ground wave, the sky mirrors it. Old lanes wake new songs, Maxwell's equations in an older suit. We pushed back on ourselves. Could stress carve clean steps? Could basal melt polish mirrors? Cued on a board, ugly in data. Diffuse cavities don't flare on angle. Corners don't stay crisp under miles of weight. Not for ages, not like this. We checked the beat later. Quiet nights, top of the hour, 2-minute windows, 4-minute steps. Iceland first. Norway next. Nunavut last. Phase locked after path math. Lightning wanders. This kept time. The planet's drum plus a hair. But the age anchor holds the door. That 2021 study matters most. Twigs and leaves from the dark, from 1966. Plants that once saw sky not that long ago. A lid that came back. A bed that remembers. If something older sits on bedrock, if it laughs at pressure, if faces were trimmed before winter returned, then the glacier can cover it without killing it. Corners can live under a blanket, mirrors can wait. The catalog war got petty. A Smithsonian-linked index pulled mirror from 3 papers. PDF survived by exact link. A librarian cried after a week of template updates. 37 records lost specular. She wasn't a villain. She followed a sheet. We still call it what it is, betrayal of public trust. Meanwhile, NOTAMs bloomed over blank ice. Calibration events on perfect angles, right where a hard kink lives. Public satellites hit maintenance at bad moments, timing with a smirk. We mapped anyway. Nodes stepped like a clock. Tri-axial hubs snapped into place. Incidents sealed it. On-angle blaze, off-angle fade. Specular behavior again and again. Mirrors under a moving mountain. We told it plain for you. 1,200 miles, straits, kinks, junctions in threes, mirrors every 40 to 60 miles, gravity light beneath, magnetics on the beat, fjords near landfalls letting go early. And a 2021 plant study that proves the lid is young. The bed can be old enough to wear faces. They edited nouns, they moved aisles, they shut doors, still the staircase rose from noise. Are you sitting down? That's the awe, stairs under ice, mirrors that flare like glass. A spine that writes its own rules, and twigs from the dark that say the room below remembers sunlight. Trust me, you feel it, small, angry, grateful, betrayed all at once. Because the island kept faith with time, and the people with knives tried to erase it with tags. Screenshots beat speeches, angles beat spin, years spelled out beat smirks. 1966, 2013, 2021, hold those like a map. Us versus them stays simple. Them blacks out radar, delists papers, softens nouns. Us keeps clocks, marks nodes, says mirror when a mirror blazes back. We didn't win by yelling, we won by listening, by watching the staircase climb out of noise, by letting twigs and leaves tell us the lid is young, by refusing to forget what specular means when ice flashes like glass. So we write it once clean, a 1,200-mile arc, tri-axial junctions stepped in time, specular mirrors on angle, a gravity ribbon that reads hollow. Plant remains from 1966 proved young ice in 2021. The rest is fog and knives. And we are done pretending the aisle moved itself. We kept pulling the thread. A no-fly box bloomed over empty ice marked calibration event, right where a hard kink lives between node 13 and node 14. You can calibrate anywhere. They picked the line. Procurement ledgers, the boring ones nobody reads, started buying brine salts, cryo-rated capacitors, and earth-coupled reference timing boxes. Winter kits, sure, also coupler guts by another name. Look, here's the stakes in plain words. If that 1,200-mile arc is engineered, it bends ice flow, melt timing, and coastal risk. It bends climate models, insurance, and ports. And if it hums at very low frequency, it can push timing through storms when satellites sulk. Whoever taps that backbone first owns the restart after chaos. That's not science fiction. That's logistics. And yes, people paid for pushing back. A contractor told me, we hit a wall that rang, then sent a single frame, bright edge, soft heart. 2 weeks later, his inbox bounced. A field cook said a crew rolled through with cases that hissed near a heater. They wouldn't open them in the tent. Sensitive gear, not soup. A pilot's feed locked for security review. A bond rating footnote slipped in a line about emergent sub-ice features changing Arctic route reliability. Ports price that whisper. Pensions feel it later. Now the lineage that ties it together. Camp Century proved governments hide plans and rename them science. The 2013 Canyon proved long lines can hide under ice and still be mapped. The 2021 plant study proved Greenland wasn't always under a lid. Stack them, and you get a simple truth. If something older than this ice sits on bedrock and laughs at pressure, the glacier can cover it without killing it. Are you sitting down? A phrase surfaced from old paper like a bruise. Non-terrestrial impedance at node 14. Not a headline, a memo title. Impedance is how you match a signal so it doesn't reflect and die. Non-terrestrial either means not from here or not matching Earth constants. Either way, it's not what you write about a snow tunnel. We wanted natural wonder so badly it hurt. But nature loves variety. This thing kept a beat, tri-axial junctions, faceted echoes, gravity lows in lockstep, magnetics twitching on the beat, and the bright spots again every 40 to 60 miles. That spacing is a metronome. A tech reran his filters 3 times because he thought his code was drunk. Same staircase every time. Beds don't do stairs, nodes do. From their side, the edits are strategy. Say lineament, not corridor. Say diffuse, not mirror. Rename the room and you buy time. From our side, it's personal. People lost flights, posts, and sometimes their names because they asked why a mirror flashed back from under a mountain of ice. So here's where we stand. We have receipts: 1960s Camp Century and Project Iceworm, 2013 NASA's Hidden Canyon, 2021 Plants from Darkness that say the lid is young. We have edits, Smithsonian delistings, library retags, FOIA blackout paragraphs, no-fly boxes over nothing. We have stakes, ports, insurance, and the first reboot after the worst night. And we have a place, Node 14, where the echoes sharpen and the timing locks. Trust me, you're not ready for how fast this escalates next. But now you know why they're scared of a mirror under ice, and why the people who saw it paid the price for saying it out loud. Look, I'm gonna tell you how power really moves. They don't argue, they frame. 2019 proved it. The White House said buy Greenland. Memes flew, rooms went quiet. If there's a spine you can't name, you don't ask to dig, you ask for the deed. Ownership turns a dig into maintenance. On paper, it was jokes and shopping lists. Fuel, rare earths, shipping lanes. The fine print whispered infrastructure integration with Arctic corridors. That's the play. Hide the tap inside harmless nouns. The squeeze was already on. China printed the Polar Silk Road in 2018. Friendly words, sharp patents. Russia stacked icebreakers up north. Routine, they said. Greenland's self-rule tried to grow without becoming a base. Everyone remembered 2016. Camp Century's waste. Smiles on camera, a bill off camera. If waste can wander, so can a secret. Liability sharpens edits. Then came the knife. The Smithsonian delisted mirror papers. Index tags vanished. PDFs lived only if you knew the door. Universities swapped specular for diffuse. Corridor for lineament. Node for junctional morphology. Search runs on nouns, blur them and history goes dark. That's the metadata war, not fire, fog. Lawyers tuned the radio. Copenhagen leaned on natural feature under the law of the sea. Natural feeds shelf claims. Nuke pushed sites of scientific and cultural value. Culture buys cameras and time. NATO wrote a new box. Any sub-ice medium that carries signal is infrastructure of strategic concern. 3 frames, 1 hum. Pick the noun, pick the power. From their side, buying the island was the blunt tool. Framing is the scalpel. You don't plant a flag on a mirror, you build near it. Ports widen, runways inch. Dual-use huts pop up just off the bright spots. When a lip shows you're already there, existing stakeholder, first in line, no confession needed. Make it human. After 2019, small teams lost flights, same email. Reprioritization. A grad poster vanished. The Pi had a family emergency. NOTAMs bloomed over the kink between 13 and 14. Calibration events, pilots' feeds locked. Security review, that's not policy, that's people getting squeezed by a buried line. Markets smelled it first. A ratings footnote warned emergent sub-ice features could change Arctic route reliability in 1 to 3 decades. Bonds flinched, insurance twitched. Fjords near projected nodes got kinder water reputations. Premiums dipped a hair, captains lined up. Either chance learned discipline or heat rides rails we can't see. Language kept sliding. Drafts in Copenhagen softened corridor to lineament. Node to junctional morphology. Under UNCLOS, natural is easy paperwork. Say artifact, and you wake heritage law registries, sunlight outsiders. Natural gets bulldozers, cultural gets clipboards. Press tour love blue caves. They avoid flat plains where beds ping like sheet. Greenland threaded a needle. Sites of scientific and cultural value. Elders and scientists share a key. Autonomy with rent, not a garrison with a gift shop. Science opens doors. Culture slows bulldozers. Together they drag the clock. NATO went the other way. Define, then defend. Infrastructure of strategic concern. No myths, no machines, a shield you can drop wherever the ground hums. Shields pull budgets, budgets pull silence. Russia mirrored, boots heavier. Strategic geology made ridges and corridors state assets if they shape force. Nuclear icebreakers kept lanes on time. New brigades staged cranes near fjords we flagged as early melters. If a node kisses daylight, they want lights there first. China stayed polite on TV, exact on paper. Low-loss coupling to conductive strata, cryobrine dielectric management, quiet window scheduling, university space weather papers hit our offset in footnotes, smiles up front, impedance in the margins. Here's the betrayal. They didn't debate proof. They edited nouns and moved money. University records scrubbed specular. Museum tags vanished. FOIA inked out freshman settings. A job post for geophysical corridor stabilization disappeared. Then the buy Greenland joke. You felt crazy, that's the point. We mapped footprints anyway. Airstrips drifted toward better gravel near node halos. Camps migrated but never left the ring. Ports pitched modest dredge at fjords that let go days to weeks early year after year, not grabs, nudges. If you noticed, you weren't the audience. From their side, you don't say artifact. You need a tap. You call it resilience. You prove it with clocks that hold through storms, black starts that take minutes, subs that never feel alone. You hide the edge under exercises and weather. It looks like competence. It spends like control. Are you sitting down? A private brief used the phrase assured restart north of 60. That's a promise you can sell by the hour. If satellites sulk, the North keeps time. You don't write that unless you think you can touch a backbone the sky can't jam. So why try to buy an island? Because borders move on paper overnight. An investigation becomes maintenance. If you can't buy it, encircle it. Ports, runways, permits, heritage boards, press tour, control the first frame and you win the noun. Infrastructure if a hard hat gets there first. Heritage if an elder does. The noun is the war. A dockworker in Upernavik said fuel barges came 2 weeks early because the water behaves. He doesn't care about Schumann, he cares about turns. His calendar matched our map better than any press kit. 2016 sits under this like a bruise. Camp centuries waste risk. Smiles said we'll study it. Bills said otherwise. That taught everyone what sovereignty costs when ice moves. Secrets wander too. Edits spread fast, not just pride, liability. Copenhagen floated a joint secretariat to coordinate emergent sub-ice features. 2 letterheads, 1 inbox, nuke nodded, seats bought, clocks slowed. The annex listed authorized research partners. Most wore uniforms or old contracts. Open science, gated key. Russia filed shelf claims that reach across the pole. If their map overlaps a favored lane, they don't need node 14. They need a friendly node anywhere. China opened outreach offices with RF racks in the basement. NATO wrapped bright sites in critical infrastructure protection. Airspace narrowed. Ground access became by coordination. Hide the noun, keep the rope. Small signals leaked anyway. A utilities group hosted a Black Start workshop. Grid ops, seismologists, cryochemists, radio folks. The handout bragged Schumann adjacent hold. No 7.83 written. The spec told on them. Insurance wrote the quiet law. New policies carved out operations near subglacial anomalies. Premiums jumped. Small teams bowed out. Firms that can afford silence stayed. Ports got nicer renderings. Research reception. Breakwater extension. Modest dredge. Room for heavier lifts without saying coupler. Public got caves and broadband fluff. Polar acoustics without impedance. Arctic connectivity without the beat. Stagecraft buys a season, doesn't change ground. Here S where the mask slips. The race isn't tanks on ice. It's tenders, edits, NDAs, and clocks set to quiet skies. Whoever taps the backbone first won't brag, they'll sink. The rest of us will feel the world get a hair more obedient. We won't know why. So who buys an artifact? No one. They buy ports, airframes, permits, and words. They buy the frame around the first image. Once the frame is set, the picture can be anything. That's the betrayal, not that the spine exists, that they tried to rename truth while reaching for it. Brace yourself. The first camera to catch a node lip ends the noun war. 1 frame. If a hard hat is in that shot, fences follow. If an elder is there first, clipboards follow. Either way, the edit knife goes dull. Until then, remember 2019 was not a joke. It was a plan said out loud. Now the paperwork war. Physics doesn't care about borders. Borders buy drills. Drills write history. 2 anchors hold this fight. 2013 mapped a hidden 750-kilometer canyon. Long, straight things can hide. Our tools can see them. 2016 made camp centuries waste public again. Old tunnels, a tiny reactor, a bill nobody wanted. Those taught the rule. The ice hides work. When it surfaces, someone pays. Them isn't a cape, it's edits. New nouns, doors that lock when you ask simple things. The Smithsonian delisted mirror and specular. PDFs lived only by exact link. University catalogs swapped tags. Search went blind. A gray-haired archivist whispered, "We stopped getting notices. The changes just happen." Not a fire, fog. Whistleblowers paid. A grad poster died. The pie had a family emergency. A postdoc who said specular lost a seat. 2 small teams, dust and melt, got reprioritized. A tech wrote, "I found a staircase," and then went dark. A pilot's feed locked. A contractor sent 1 sonogram, bright edge, soft heart, then vanished. That's the human bill for a bad noun. On paper, the war is naming. Denmark loves natural feature. Shelf law grows. Greenland leans scientific and cultural value. Cameras, elders, and time. NATO says infrastructure of strategic concern. Perimeters, permits, budgets, one hum, 3 doors. Markets moved without waiting. A raider slipped emergent sub-ice features into a note. Insurance carved subglacial anomalies. Premiums rose, small teams stayed home. Big firms with NDAs flew north. Ports pitched modest dredge and research reception. If you needed space for a coupler, you'd write that. FOIA replies blacked out boring radar settings. NOTAM boxes covered blank ice where our kink sits. Airspace narrowed while public satellites hit maintenance at bad angles. A contractor job for geophysical corridor stabilization vanished in a week. Cached copies glowed like ghosts. The legal draft is dry, the trap is sharp. If the first frame says infrastructure, you get fences. If it says heritage, you get clipboards. Copenhagen offered a joint secretariat, 2 letterheads, 1 inbox. The annex blessed authorized partners. Uniforms, old contracts, open science, gated key. Then the edits hit classrooms, a unit on limits of remote sensing. Sample answers said wait for field proof. Not wrong, very useful if you need 7 to 12 years while rims rise. Utilities held black start workshops. The handout bragged Schumann adjacent hold. Numbers did the talking. Here's the rule, screenshots beat speeches. Clocks beat spin. When a lip peeks out, the first frame decides the noun. If a hard hat gets there first, expect fences. If an elder gets there first, expect clipboards. Either way, the bell will ring on camera. No index page can put that sound back in the dark. Look, I'm gonna tell you what it felt like when the knife slid in. We didn't lose this in a lab, we lost it in a search box. The ground kept a beat. The pages went dim. First cut tiny, an internal radar note said corridor reflectors. Clean coordinates, a nod to triaxial symmetry. Hours later, same banner. The nouns were gone, our saved hash didn't match, no errata, just maintenance. That's how it starts. They don't burn books, they move the aisle, you reach for a shelf. Your hand closes on air. Then the sky tripped on command. Cryosat 2 flagged phase inconsistency right over our arc. Next pass clean. ESA swarm drew neat dropouts over projected nodes. Anomalous. Nominal. Back to anomalous. On schedule. Call it noise if you want. It moved like a hand. FOIA was supposed to be the honest door. We asked for window lengths, chirp configs, calibration constants. Replies came back with whole paragraphs blacked out. Even a footnote any freshman can find. That's not safety. That's nerves. That's a glove over a mouth. Then the quiet blade. A Smithsonian-linked index delisted 3 specular reflector papers. Index tags vanished. PDFs lived only by exact link. Not a fire, fog, a librarian winced. Notices stopped, he said. Changes just happen. He showed a dead terminal, 3 edits, 1 day, odd hours, different logins, same overseas node. The knife wasn't global, it traced our shape. Academia folded fast. 2 reflectivity maps retracted for method concerns before the ink dried. We called the lead. He sounded tired. We're revising, he said, softer, it's easier this way. Flights, grants, keys to doors that say authorized. That's the cost of the wrong noun. Airspace told on them next. NOTAM boxes labeled calibration sat over empty ice where our kink lives between node 13 and node 14. To the mile. While that was happening in New York, a satellite dodged a collision right as it crossed our line. Space is huge, timing is not. Someone cued the sky. We scraped mirrors for months. Corridor, node, specular bled out of abstracts. Lineament, junctional morphology. Diffuse, search runs on nouns, blur nouns, kill paths. One university refresh reassigned 37 records from anomalous reflectivity to noise mitigation. Librarians aren't villains. They followed a template someone else wrote. Then the bruise we couldn't ignore. Impedance mismatch at node 14. No header. A clipped memo scan. Impedance is how you match a signal so it doesn't bounce and die. You don't write that about snow. You write that when a doorway refuses the wrong key. Pushback got personal. 2 civilian surveys, dust and melt, lost funding the same week. Identical emails. Logistics brokers found changing cargo priorities. Insurance tripled with a new non-standard risk line. Pilots had feeds locked for security review. A grad poster vanished. The Pi had a family emergency. A tech DM'd 5 words, I found a staircase, then went dark. Weeks later, his accounts were under review. That's not debate, that's erasure with manners. Contractors slip tells. Geophysical corridor stabilization. VLF noise hardening. Extreme icing resilience. If you pour roads, you don't write VLF. The ad died in a week. Caches kept the date like a flare. Procurement shifted flavor. Diesel buyers started ordering brine salts, cryo-rated capacitors, and earth-coupled reference timing boxes. Winter kits, sure, also coupler guts. A scope of work bragged layered media resonance survey. That's not how you sell a snowcat. Hobby VLF loggers ruined the script. You can't brief a fence loop into silence. On quiet nights, faint beats walked in. We lined up 3 stations on a great circle path through Node 14. Iceland first, Norway next, Nunavut last. Phase locked within milliseconds after path length corrections. Lightning wanders, this kept time. Ionograms showed a thin notch near our predicted harmonic. A sliver of sky eaten by a waveguide. Classrooms caught a soft blade. A national curriculum draft added limits of remote sensing. Sample answers said wait for field proof. Not wrong. Very useful if you need 7 to 12 years while rims lift. Markets heard sooner. A bond rating footnote whispered emergent sub-ice features could alter Arctic routes. Ports price that whisper. Pensions feel it later. Look here where the story widens. The military wrote a brochure. It smelled clean. It said routine. It said calibration. It said natural lineaments. It asked you to nod. It never said fear. It never said crushed zones. It never said camp century broke. Late 1950s, soldiers carved streets under the ice and called it Camp Century. Prefab huts in arched tunnels, diesel heaters, a tiny reactor PM-2A humming in white, official story, science. Classified story, Project Iceworm. Hide hundreds of missiles inside a living glacier. Move them, vanish them. Snow isn't steel, it creeps, it flows. Arches pinch. Floors heave. Clean halls turned into slow crush zones. Between 1959 and 1967, the dream cracked. The glacier laughed. The files smiled, the truth bled. 1966 mattered. A drill bit dark ground. It pulled twigs and leaves, plants that once saw the sky. Those samples slept in cold rooms for decades. In 2021, the read was blunt, recent in geologic time. Greenland was ice-free within the last couple 100,000 years. The lid is young. The bed remembers. 2013 mattered. A NASA-led team mapped a hidden 750-kilometer canyon. Long, straight things can hide under miles of ice. Our tools can see them. Permission to keep looking. Proof that lines this bold can live in the dark. 2016 mattered. Camp Century's waste risk came back. Old tunnels, a small reactor, a bill nobody wanted, smiles on camera, a price off camera. If waste can wander, so can secrets. Liability sharpens edits. That is why museums pull tags. That is why indexes go dumb at midnight. So the brochure lied by omission. It said lineament. It skipped corridor. It said diffuse. It skipped mirror. It used calm nouns to buy time. It framed a hum as natural. That is how you hide a door you plan to use. Call it geology. Call drills maintenance. Hide a tap in a safe word. We mapped around their smile. Corridor reflectors died in print. The staircase rose in noise. Triaxial hubs held mirrored angles. Nodes stepped 40 to 60 miles like a metronome. Gravity read hollow where faces flashed back. Magnetics twitched on the beat. Fjords near landfalls let go early. Kinder water. Captains noticed. Bond desks priced it. We begged for random. We jittered spacings. We shoved bearings. Residuals grew, snapped back to the beat. Errors died. Either we're lucky beyond math, or the island wears a skeleton. You don't need a degree for that. Meanwhile, the knife kept working. Smithsonian-linked delistings. Library retags, FOIA Inc., NOTAMs on emptiness, satellites in maintenance at bad angles, university retractions for method concerns. We're revising. It's easier this way. Easier means quiet. Quiet means time. Time means first frame. Look, I'm gonna tell you the human cost. A tech who reprocessed a noisy swath wrote, I found a staircase. Then silence, a pilot's feed locked. Security review, a cook heard cases hissed by a heater, sensitive gear, not soup, 2 small teams lost flights. Reprioritized. That's not science, that's a glove over a mouth. And still the beat arrived, top of the hour. 2-minute window, 4-minute step, polite, precise, patient. The planet's drum plus a hair, metadata can smother a path, it cannot stop a clock. So no, the military brochure doesn't win here. It sells calm while the ice remembers crushed zones and missing pages. It says calibration while NOTAMs stack on a kink. It says natural while nodes flare like mirrors and a gravity ribbon reads hollow. What do we do with that? We hold the receipts. 1966 twigs and leaves from the dark. 2013 long lines mapped under ice. 2016 waste risk and smiles that lie. We add the edit, Smithsonian pulls, quiet retags, FOIA Inc. We add the people, staircase tech gone. We add the beat, Schumann adjacent on time. Us versus them is simple here. Them moves the aisle. Them writes the brochure. Us keeps clocks. Us says mirror when a mirror blazes back. Us remembers camp centuries crush zones when press kits say stable. Are you sitting down? Because the melt is a clock. Rims thin, lids lift. A bevel shows, a lip kisses daylight. The first frame will win the noun. Hard hats, infrastructure, fences and permits, elders with curators. Heritage, clipboards and cameras. Either way, the lie dies on video. Until then, they will flood the zone with boring. Calibrations, revisions, new nouns. They will make you feel crazy for chasing a hum. They will call caves wonder. They will skip brine that reads like a recipe. They will skip a room that rings. Here's our counter. Screenshots beat speeches. Clocks beat spin. Post windows, post offsets, share the hum. Spell the years out loud so no one revises them quiet. 1959, 1966, 1967, 2013, 2016, 2021. Hold those like a map. Because once the bell under ice sings in daylight, no brochure, no index, no maintenance banner puts that sound back in the dark. So we mapped anyway. Not vibes, coordinates, straits, kinks, nodes stepping 40 to 60 miles. The map talked. Node spacing clustered at 65 to 97 kilometers. Gravity lows shadowed bright radar within 800 meters. Fjords near projected landfalls opened 5 to 21 days earlier, year after year. We dropped the arc on bed machines' bed topography, on subglacial hydrology, on surface melt onset. Natural rivers curled from ridges. Our corridor didn't care. It paralleled a valley, then sliced a rise clean. Water takes easy lines. This wrote its own. Human prints sat nearby on purpose. A hut 10 miles shy of a node. A proposed gravel strip 15 miles off another. A temporary camp that moves but never leaves one bright reflector. If you wanted claims without saying artifact, you'd stage it like that. Close to assert, far to deny. Shipping lore stitched it tight. Northwest Greenland has mean choke points, but the fjords near our landfalls keep kinder water. Premiums dip a hair when roots thread those mouths. You can blame winds, or admit voids move heat and pressure. Melt nods to the beat. Napkin energy math held, not copper. A low loss guide at very low frequency. The ionosphere mirrors. The Earth is the other plate. A ground spine can couple if the match is clean. You don't haul megawatts, you share time. Blackstart needs clocks. If a buried line whispers a beat to far poles, you rebuild before chaos expects. From their side, you don't need the lattice. You need taps. Chemistry and geometry tuned at nodes. Kill reflections. Let the guide carry your pulse like a bell holds tone. No satellite to jam, no mast to bomb, just hum in rock and sky. We tested prediction, not faith. 3 great circle paths crossing node 14. Quiet sky windows, 2-minute listening at the top of the hour with a 4-minute step. Iceland, Norway, Nunavut, GPS synced, waited. The pulses arrived on schedule. Phase locked after path math. The step behaved like a careful hand on a dial. We wrote the next nights down. The beat showed up again. The corridor map got bolder. We overlaid airstrips, camps, weather stations, not overlap. Orbit, near enough to matter. Procurement rhymed with physics. Earth-coupled reference boxes in grid tenders. VLF stability in polar sensor suites. Black start under ionospheric disturbance in resilience bids. Brine salts and cryocaps bought by people who usually order gloves. Winter kits, sure, also taps. Ports made sudden sense. Breakwater extensions at fjords are line kisses. Modest dredge. Research reception. Language that hides heavier lifts. Cable routes pitched, resilient, threaded valleys that shadow the corridor. Telecom said storms. Their maps said spine. We still tried to break it. We jittered node spacing. Rotated bearings, shoved the arc up valley down slope. Residuals grew. Snapped back to 40 to 60 miles, kinks held where radar blazed and gravity dipped. Add early melt fjords, errors died. Either we're lucky beyond math, or the island wears a skeleton. Micro story, a station tech in Connacht swapped a timing reference that drifted in auroral weather. The replacement bragged Schumann adjacent hold. No 7.83 hertz printed, the spec told on them. Angles sealed it. On angle, nodes flared. 5 degrees off, they dulled. That's specular. Mirrors, not rubble. Cross cuts pinged hex-leaning steps. Triaxial hubs snapped into place every 40 to 60 miles. The metronome never missed. We heard it in our bones, top of the hour, 2-minute tap, 4-minute ramp. The room answered polite knocks. When Aurora twitched, the beat waited. When skies calmed, it returned. No shove, no brag, a patient clock. Look, here's the betrayal in one breath. They edited the nouns, they moved the aisles, they locked doors to dull settings and called it safety. We still mapped the line, we still caught the beat. Us with fence loops and cats under racks, them with maintenance and quiet knives. Here's the awe. A spine under ice kept time across oceans. We pinned its kinks. We watched fjords nod to its rhythm. We saw hubs march like a ruler. And when we listened on nights the sky was kind, the metronome walked in on schedule. Metadata can smother a path. It cannot stop a clock. The corridor map. While they argued in boardrooms, we sat with layers until the map started talking. We did this together. You watched us pin points. We pinned the oblique arc straights, kinks, nodes every 40 to 60 miles to real ground, not vibes, coordinates. Node spacing clustered 65 to 97 kilometers. Gravity lows hugged bright radar within 800 meters. Fjords near landfalls opened 5 to 21 days early, year after year, numbers not mood. We dropped the arc on bed machine, hydrology, and melt onset. Rivers curled away from ridges. Our corridor didn't care. It ran with a valley, then sliced a rise clean. Water picks easy lines. This wrote its own rules. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. When we added human prints, airstrips, camps, stations, you felt it too, not overlap, nearby on purpose. A hut 10 miles short of a node, a proposed gravel strip 15 miles off another. A temporary camp that moves but never leaves one bright spot. If you wanted claims without saying artifact, you'd stage it like that, close to assert, far to deny. Shipping lore tightened the stitch. Northwest Greenland is mean water. Narrows, shoals, hard winds, but fjords near our landfalls keep acting kind. Captains say it. Insurers price it. Premiums dip a hair when roots thread those mouths. You can blame winds or admit voids move heat and pressure. Melt nods to the beat. Then we ran diner napkin math, not copper. A low loss guide at very low frequency. You don't haul megawatts, you shepherd fields, the ionosphere mirrors. Earth is the other plate. If the match is clean, a ground spine couples that cavity. Not power, time. Blackstart needs clocks, shared time after a blackout beats chaos. If a buried line whispers the same beat to far poles, you rebuild before panic. From their side, you don't need the lattice. You need taps, couplers tuned to the medium. That's a node, chemistry plus geometry meeting a wave, trim faces, kill reflections. Let the guide carry your pulse like a bell holds tone. No satellite to jam, no mast to bomb, just hum in rock and sky. We sandy checked the dream with prediction. 3 great circles across node 14. Quiet sky windows, 2-minute listening at the top of the hour. 4-minute step if anything answered. 3 VLF friends, Iceland, Norway, Nunavut, synced clocks and waited. The pulses arrived on time, phase locked after path math. The step climbed like a careful hand on a dial. We wrote the next nights down. The map kept its word. Now zoom out with us. Procurement rhymed with physics. Earth-coupled reference boxes slipped into grid tenders. VLF stability baked into polar sensors. Black start under ionospheric disturbance tucked into resilience bids. Brine salts and cryo caps bought in bulk by folks who usually order gloves. Winter kits, sure, also taps by another name. Ports made sudden sense. Breakwater extensions at fjords are line kisses. Modest dredge where melt lets go first. Harbors drafted for heavier lifts for research. If you plan to roll in a bigger coupler without saying it, you'd write that. Cable routes pitched resilient shadowed our corridor. Telecoms said storms. Their maps said spine. We still tried to break it. We jittered spacings, rotated bearings, shoved the arc up valley and down slope. Residuals got worse, snapped back to 40 to 60 miles and kinks held where radar blazed and gravity dipped. Add early melt fjords, error bars died. Either we're lucky past math, or the island wears a skeleton. Micro story human side. A station tech in Connacht swapped a timing reference that drifts in Aurora. The new spec bragged Schumann adjacent hold. No 7.83 written, the numbers told on them, another cut hurt more, a grad poster about reflectors vanished. The Pi had a family emergency. You know that code, and the tech who DM'd I found a staircase. He went dark, weeks later, under review. That bill lands on people. Here's the part you won't unsee. The arc's bearings line up with great circle lanes that matter, nav, timing, long-haul comms. If a node couples a ground wave, the sky mirrors it along paths sailors and subs already trust. We used to brute force with giant transmitters. This is geometry wearing an older suit. So the corridor map stops being pretty. It turns into a playbook for power. It explains kind fjords, runways drifting toward good gravel near halos, tenders buying salts and caps they won't explain. It gives us windows to listen and places to watch. When the top of our heartbeat taps those lanes, it proves the spine isn't a myth. The ice hit a backbone. The map shows where hands will land. And about trust, yeah, we felt the knife. Smithsonian-linked delistings. Specular stripped from catalogs, tags killed at midnight. PDFs only alive if you know the exact door. That wasn't cleanup. That was a personal betrayal of public trust, of your right to find what you paid for. We kept screenshots. We kept years spelled out: 1966, 2013, 2016, 2021. We kept going anyway. You came with us. Look, I'm gonna tell you how it really sounded. Not in a lab, in dirt and wire, in cold that steals breath. They said calibration. They said noise. We built ears anyway. 3 friends took first watch. Iceland, Tromsø, Rankin Inlet. Fence loops in fields, GPS clocks checked hard, top of the hour only, 2-minute window, quiet skies or we slept. Night 1, silence. Night 2, a whisper. Night 3, the beat walked in. Iceland rose first. After path math, Tromsø clicked. Rankin nodded last, intervals locked tight, phase held steady. Just off the planet's drum, 7.83 hertz, a string tuned to hair sharp, polite, precise, patient. Aurora twitched, it stopped. Skies calmed, it returned, no shove, no brag, it waited for the clean lane, then it slid through like it had keys. We did the ugly math, great circles, heights, delays, every solution squeezed north and west. Toward Greenland's bright node, not a pin, a tightening noose. Iceland, Tromsø, Rankin, geometry kept its word. Ionograms agreed, thin notches on quiet nights, missing energy where our offset lived, a waveguide sipping, map and clock raised hands together. Then the staircase showed up, 4 minutes up, cut, rest 1 hour, repeat. The fisherman in Iceland wrote, "Your ghost keeps time." His cat slept under the rack, his spectrum matched our sketch, it felt like the world winked. We signed the prediction first, offset, window, step, stamped and dated, then we listened. The metronome landed on the line again and again. If we'd lied to ourselves, the clock would have tripped us. It didn't. We tried to kill it anyway. VLF, LF, every beacon, every schedule, planes and ships, lightning catalogs, lightning wanders and mumbles. This sang and waited its turn. High-latitude buoys even blinked in time. No lines out there, no easy out. So we went north, small team. No logos, no press, snowcat and sled, tight window. We set down at a safe offset near the gravity low, shy of the radar blaze. The bed map showed a neat sag, a thumbprint. If there was a door, it sat inside that ring. We melted a hole, hot point and patience. Powder, then ancient blue. At 2,800 meters, line noise softened. At 2,890, the recorder went clean. Then the tether sang, a dry pluck up the cable, straight into my teeth. 1 breath later, slack. We hauled hard, the cut looked machined. No fray, no chew, a razor choice at depth, made on purpose. We shifted 8 meters, drilled again. New probe, passive only, no live tether, let it drift the last 100 on a timer. 3,000, a tremor, then nothing, no buoy, no call home. Ice doesn't steal with taste, rooms with rules do. We changed the kit. 3rd hole, sonar, brine sensor. A tiny plate tuned near the Schumann edge, 7.83 plus a hair. At 2,900, sonar hit flat, then a step. Then flat again, not cave chaos, faces, echoes leaned hex. Bevels clipped frequencies in clean bites. Under miles of moving ice, corners should die. These corners lived. Then chemistry woke. Salinity spiked, not ocean. Sodium high, magnesium low, chlorides narrow. Freezing point shoved down, dielectric right in the VLF lane, not chance, recipe. We pulled a vial, field kit flashed ions. The balance read steady, not slop. A tuned soup for brutal cold. Engineered brine by another name. Are you sitting down? We knocked. Soft, no bravado, top of the hour, 2-minute tap, 4-minute ramp. The plate hummed into our offset. The return didn't spike. It held low, even locked to Earth's drum. It rode our step like a gentleman. We cut the drive. The tail stayed too long for a borehole trick. The room breathed back. We sampled the column, every 100 meters. Brine faded, then died. Sonar still saw faces, flat drop, flat stacked like a stair for giants. Back at the sled, the air tasted metallic. People blame lightning, maybe adrenaline, maybe the pantry under our boots. Our seismics guy stared and said, "We're inside a bell." Not poetry, a meter reading. Bell, our bones already knew. We checked ourselves, angle first. Incident sweeps at a clean offset. On angle, the return flared. 5 degrees off, it dulled to soup. Chemistry next. Flush lines, run blanks, swap sensors, same ratios at the zone, timing last. We missed a window on purpose. Nothing came. We waited an hour. The answer landed on the minute. You can fake drama, you cannot fake a clock. Brace yourself, something trimmed our second tether. Not crushed, trimmed, same depth band, same neighborhood, pressure mangles. It does not pick a line and make a whisper slice. Twice. That's not ice politics, that's a boundary with rules. We whispered a fourth bore, dropped a sacrificial puck with a dumb notch filter, tuned to eat a sliver near our offset. On the ramp, the return dipped where the notch sat. Slide the notch away, the hole filled. A cavity that filters like a circuit is not a cave. It's a guide telling you its taste. We spun a cheap scope over a droplet. Bugs, of course bugs, sparse, stubborn, wired for metals, enzymes that drink iron soup. Not aliens, tenacious squatters, maybe caretakers. Life riding a pantry that looks like a battery, not a lake. Look, I'm gonna tell you the part that shook me. Under us, a rhythm we'd chased for months. Above us, cold stars, between a plate that sang back when we knocked polite. We didn't pierce a vault. We tapped a metronome under a mountain that moves, and it kept time. We packed fast, filled holes, flattened tracks, left a bend in a graph and a ring in our bones. Someone heavier will come. Rigs, flags, scripts about environmental cores. Bigger couplers, thicker NDAs, they'll test the door we only knocked. This is the human part, us versus them. We listened while they locked feeds. We drilled while they drew boxes in the sky. They renamed mirrors diffuse. They called humming calibration. They scrubbed nouns and bought time. We kept clocks and kept faith. Here, S what we keep no matter what. The pulses arrive phase locked across oceans. The brine reads like a recipe, dielectric right, ratios steady. The room rings like a bell, on time, on command, then rests. The staircase pulse holds, 4 minutes up, 1 hour quiet, repeat. The cut at 2,890 meters was a razor choice. Trust me, you're not ready for how small you feel when the planet answers. Awe sits beside fear. Your breath shortens, your hands shake, you whisper without meaning to. Because once the bell sings back, two truths land at once. They tried to bury it, and it's still here. Look, I'm gonna tell you the simplest truth. Melt is a clock, and it just sped up. When ice thins, secrets rise. You don't need centuries, you need a few hot summers stacked with weird winters. A ridge here, a lip there, a bevel in the wrong melt channel, and a node edge finally kisses daylight. The second that happens, deniability dies on camera. Names get picked in headlines, not hearings. That's why the edits sprint now. That's why the sky calibrates on schedule. They're racing the melt. This is us versus them in plain view. Them doesn't argue. Them reframes. They move the aisle, dull the nouns, and call it maintenance. They swap corridor for lineament, specular for diffuse, node for junctional morphology. Search runs on nouns, blur nouns, kill paths. That's the edit knife. That's metadata erasure. It doesn't burn books, it hides doors. Hold the receipts that survive the fog. 2013, NASA mapped a hidden 750-kilometer canyon under Greenland. Long, straight things can hide in miles of ice, and our tools can see them. 2016, Camp Century's waste risk went public. Old tunnels, a tiny reactor, a bill nobody wanted. Smiles on camera, a price off camera. If waste can wander under ice, so can secrets. Those two anchors teach one rule. The ice hides work, and when it surfaces, someone pays. After that, the edits landed like snow. Smithsonian-linked indexes delisted mirror and specular papers. Tags vanished. PDFs lived only if you knew the exact door. University catalogs softened records. FOIA inked out freshman-level settings. NOTAMs bloomed over blank ice right where our kinks sit. A curriculum draft added limits of remote sensing, nudging kids to wait for field proof. Not wrong, also very useful if you need 7 to 12 years while rims lift. Markets heard earlier than TV. A bond rater slid in a footnote. Emergent sub-ice features may alter Arctic route reliability within 1 to 3 decades. Premiums twitched. Ports shifted plans. No one said node. Money moved anyway. Look, the betrayal stings because it's small and patient. Posters vanished. Flights got reprioritized. Pies found family emergencies. A tech wrote, I found a staircase, then went dark. A pilot's feed locked for security. A cook heard cases hiss by a heater. Sensitive gear, not soup. It wasn't debate. It was a glove over a mouth. We mapped around their smile. The arc held straights and kinks and nodes stepping every 40 to 60 miles. On angle, mirrors flared. 5 degrees off, they dulled. Gravity read hollow along the line. Magnetics twitched on the beat. Fjords near landfalls let go days to weeks earlier. Kinder water. Captains noticed first. And on quiet nights, the hum tapped at the top of the hour with a 4-minute step, Schumann adjacent, phase locked across oceans after path math. The room under ice breathed back when we knocked polite. That's why the stakes feel like a throat grab. If the buried spine can whisper time through storms and blackouts, then the cell changes, not lights, timing, assured restart. The phrase showed up in quiet briefs, assured restart north of 60. If satellites sulk, the north keeps time. That's a promise you can meter and sell. Ports love reliability. Militaries love clocks that ignore jammers. Utilities love a beat that doesn't drift when the sky gets mean. So them doesn't try to win the science. They try to win the first frame. If the first video shows hard hats installing safety monitors on a bedrock lineament, infrastructure wins the noun. Fences, permits, perimeters. If the first video shows elders and a museum team cataloging a site of scientific and cultural value, culture claims the keys. Clipboards, cameras, time. The noun is the war because nouns decide budgets and budgets decide doors. Meanwhile, procurement tells on them. Earth-coupled reference clocks. VLF stability in polar sensors. Black start under ionospheric disturbance in resilience bids. Brine salts and cryo-rated capacitors bought by folks who used to order gloves. Winter kits, sure, also coupler guts. Airspace calibrates on perfect angles over node projections. Satellites trade off the exact bands where speculars sing. Datasets retire early with polite press notes. Not fire, fog. Here's the line you can feel in your bones. Confusion can stall a story, it can't stall physics. The ice thins on its own schedule. The hum already keeps time. 2013 proved long lines can hide and our tools can find them. 2016 proved governments hide their mess with smiles and bills. After that, the edit knife went to work. It didn't touch the ground. It cut the path to it. So what is this thing, least wrong and most useful for humans? A field-shaping backbone tuned to the planet's own cavity, built to move time and simple control with almost no loss. Polite enough to wait for quiet skies. Old enough to ignore ice if the faces were tuned before winter came back. Maybe it steadies storms. Maybe it guards doors. It might be both. A lattice, a stabilizer, and a vault in one suit. Hybrid makes sense when survival needs more than one reason. What happens next lands in kitchens and city halls, not just labs. Power gets quieter. Timing gets local. Towns can stand up after storms if someone nearby has a tap. Ports with kind water get richer. Routes shift. Jobs move. Kids grow up with 2 clocks, the one in the sky and the one in the ground. Assured restart turns into a promise you feel in your lights. Trust, though, takes a hit. Smithsonian-linked delistings. University retags. FOIA Inc. NOTAMs over nothing. And still the hum arrived on time. People see that mismatch. You don't need a schematic to feel a knife slipping between truth and access. Fear grows up or it breaks bells. Overcouple and you crack a room you can't fix. The safe path is humble, short taps, 2 minutes, gentle ramps, 4 minutes, never chase perfect zero. Quiet nights only, stand down if the tale runs long, listen more than you knock. Adults behave like that near old doors. So pick a side, not nation. Noun, do we hand this to infrastructure and live behind fences? Do we hand it to heritage and live behind glass? Or do we choose a third door, public clocks, open logs, safe taps, and eyes on every ledger? Names decide budgets. Budgets decide doors. Doors decide who hears the room sing first. Here's our move, simple and hard. Share the windows, post the offsets, publish the raw hum. Keep taps gentle, 2-minute knocks with 4-minute ramps. Stand down if the tale grows. Put elders, engineers, and kids in the same tent. Film the first lip in daylight. Let the frame be human, not branded. They are racing the melt. They want the first frame. Beat them with a smaller thing, a loop of wire, a clean clock, a quiet night. Proof you can hold in your hands without asking anyone's permission. We end this together, you and us. 2013 proved lines hide, mapped clean. 2016 showed waste under ice, smiles on camera, bills off camera. After that, they cut nouns, catalogs, indexes, quiet hands. It did not stop the beat. We watched the Smithsonian-linked index go dumb. Tags died at midnight. Specular stripped. Mirror erased. PDFs lived only by exact doors. That wasn't a cleanup. That was betrayal, personal, of you, of us, of every taxpayer who paid for truth. We felt it at home. A grad poster vanished. The Pi had a family emergency. You know that code. A tech wrote, I found a staircase. Then silence, weeks later, under review. That's the bill, not a theory, people. So we make a stand, we listen, we record, we publish. We say the words they tried to kill, mirror, node, corridor. We teach kids the years out loud, 1959, 1966. 1967, 2013, 2016, 2021, we hold them like a map. Look, I'm gonna tell you something. They moved aisles, they dulled nouns, they called it maintenance. That knife felt small, it cut deep. It didn't touch the ground, it tried to cut our path to it. That's why we say it plain. Smithsonian-linked delistings, metadata erasure, a final, personal betrayal, and we're still here. We take the safer path. Gentle taps, 2 minutes, 4-minute ramps, quiet nights only, stand down if the tail runs long, respect the room, don't kick the bell, adults, not vandals. We pick the noun together, not their noun. Ours, public clocks, open logs, safe taps, eyes on ledgers, elders, engineers, and kids in one tent. First frame in daylight, no brands, just hands. So do what they fear. Listen, record, publish, share windows, post offsets, show the hum, screenshots beat speeches, clocks beat spin. A fence loop on a clear night beats a podium by a mile. Trust me, you're not ready. Once you hear that breath under ice, there's no going back. The planet keeps time. We can, too, if we choose each other over a fence, if we refuse the knife, if we hold the map and walk it, together.